Hey everybody, if you ever wanted to restore that old vehicle paint to a new finish, if you ever want to make it look new again, if so, I'm going to give you some steps and guidelines to making that old vehicle or boat look like new again. First of all, we want to identify what is a bad paint job or maybe a paint job that can't be saved, and what's a possible paint or surface of a vehicle that can be restored. Well, if you've got a vehicle that the paint is flaking off and it's bare metal showing, maybe it's even rusting, you're going to need a lot more than a good buffing job and maybe a wax to restore this finish to a new shine. But what you can deal with is maybe some dried cracked paint that's possibly sat in the sun too long, or maybe has light nicks and scratches in it. We can restore those to a new finish, or at least they look like a new finish. Now, the first thing I'm going to do in preparation for this is I'm going to wash the vehicle. I'm going to use a light dish soap, probably. Maybe mix it with some chlorine, or just some kind of soap to remove all the debris and dirt and things of that nature from your surface of the paint, or possibly gel coat. Depends if you're working with a boat or not. We want to keep things as clean as possible when we're doing this. It's just going to help in the process. It's going to make what you're dealing with or what you're working with look a lot better in the long run. Now, the condition of the paint. I already touched on that in a little bit, but it's very important that you understand the condition. Now, dried out paints, things of that nature, can be restored. You might have a glittered paint, a metallic paint. It may be coming apart or separating, but that shouldn't be a problem. It's just a matter of how much time you want to put into this, and how much time and money you want to involve in restoring your paint. Now, moving on to the next area, we're going to want to exfoliate the very top layer of your paint. You want to do this with sandpaper or a buffing compound. I like to use a real fine sandpaper. Just depends on the level of, I guess, destruction of your paint job. I've got a 1500 grit wet or dry automotive sandpaper here. This paper can be used, I use it with a water hose. I'll put water directly onto the paint while I'm sanding. It helps restore and keep debris from the sandpaper. It helps clean it while you're working on the surface. Also, I've got two compounds that I like to use, but I won't be moving to that just yet. Another piece of equipment that I like to use as far as getting the shine that I want is a buffing wheel. Now, these come in different, I guess, almost like a grit as well, but it'll say on the back whether it's coarse or fine. Depends on what you want to do with the surface, whether you want it to be a real fine polish or you're sanding it still. Just depends on the level that you want to remove from your surface. The more aggressive the sandpaper or the compound, the more you're going to remove when you exfoliate this dead surface from your paint or gel coat. A lot of people ask me, or people ask, how far should I go? How do I know when enough is enough? Should I remove even more? Well, it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. You don't want to remove it all the way to the bare metal, but you don't want to sit there and just play with it. You want to do it evenly according to just taking the first layer off. That's what I like to do, but it all depends on the case-by-case basis. Now, as I was talking about earlier, briefly, there's two compounds that I like to use. The first one is it's a turbo, if you can see it, a turbo cut. Now this is a buffing compound. It's used to get out really fine scratches and things of that nature. Not every time you have to mess with a paint job to restore it, you have to use sandpaper. But that is an extreme case. These compounds, they're used with these buffing wheels. They work really well in removing real fine hair scratches, maybe even fine clear coat removal, things of that nature. After using your buffing compound for extended period of time, you should get a luster back into your paint. Now, that'll probably be the first step in the real nice shine process. The next step I would use is a finish cut. And this will be your last step as far as buffing it out. This is going to get all the swirl marks that your abrasive pads would use because they go in a circular motion. It's going to remove all those pad marks and everything, and this should restore your paint to a new finish. But you're going to have to follow certain steps, and these are the ones that I've stated to achieve this luster or new finish. Now, I've stated basically what you're going to need to do as far as, washing your paint, making sure it's taken care of, and looking at what you need as far as removing, identifying, exfoliating, and then compounds that will help you achieve a new finish to your surface. This can be used on just about any vehicle or paint job, and also it can be used on just about any kind of boat or gel coat. Thank you for watching my video. I hope I've educated you and this works for you. Thank you.